Hi everybody, welcome to another Broken Meeple episode. Hopefully the audio is good for some people, because I've had some very mixed opinions about the audio in the last few episodes, and I don't know whether it's because I have it set to automatically adjust volume. I don't know whether, I took off echo cancellation because I hated it, and apparently people thought it was worse without it, which doesn't make any sense. But maybe it's because I had the microphone too close to my mouth, and so it was distorting the audio. So I'm trying it a lot further away now, and we're going to see whether that makes it a little bit clearer. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. So yeah, thanks for joining me on another Kickstarter Fear of Missing Out episode. I didn't realise they were going to go this well, but yeah, you loved the first episode, so you know what, we'll keep this going as a monthly thing, although the quality of the Kickstarters will vary somewhat. Yeah, last month there was quite a decent amount of big Kickstarters. This time we've barely got a couple of big Kickstarters. One of them's more of a rant than a Kickstarter, frankly, and a bunch of smaller ones. So as I say, most of these I'm going in semi-blind, so it's a case of giving my impressions, looking at the page, kind of sort of going, ooh, is this something I feel like betting, feel like gambling on or not, that's that kind of thing. But also, just to sort of recap over the previous one, I was tempted to back Burn Cycle and Moonrakers. I decided in the end not to do either. Burn Cycle was just far too expensive. it was going to cost me $300-400 to get like everything, plus playmat, plus all the extra bits and that, and I thought, that's just too much. As much as the game is really fun, it's not worth it. And Moonrakers was going to need at least $200 it was $150 to get all in. But that was not including essential add-ons, micro expansions and all the rest of that stuff. So it was really getting to the point where, with VAT and everything, it was going to be $200, $250 to get everything really for Moonrakers. And I'm sorry, for a deck builder, a card game, that's a rip-off. And they know it. So I decided not to back either of them. Sorry, let's clear my throat there for a minute. And just decided, you know what, let's save the money and look at other things. So will this month's Kickstarters be any better? We'll see, but, well, actually we'll see. The answer to that is no, but yeah, let's get a move on. So let's start off with Bloodstones. Bloodstones, people have sort of mentioned this one to me briefly, mainly just because they're all fans of Martin Wallace, which is essentially what this one is. Now, to tell the truth, I've met Martin Wallace. He's one of the friendliest people I've ever met. I doubt he would hurt a fly. Yeah, really nice, funny, bubbly guy. It's a shame I've never really liked any of his games at all. I have no interest. I haven't played them all. I have no interest in trying Wildlands, but I'm not the biggest fan of Brass. I didn't think Via Nebula was any particular good. Did he do? Yeah, he did Anno 1840, whatever. I don't know. I forget what it's called, but yeah, that Anno 1800, I don't know, but that one's okay. I don't mind it. It's probably his best work, but even then, I'm not that massive a fan of it. And just generally, I don't know, it's not that I think his games are bad, they just seem a little bit dull to me. They don't appeal to what I like in games, so that's all there is to it. So I wasn't exactly, jumping, frothing at the mouth thinking, ooh, another Martin Wallace game, ooh, let's have a look at Bloodstones. And certainly, if I'm going to go by the looks of this game, which is basically a fairly dull-looking map with a bunch of tiles over it, that doesn't exactly suggest great for me. It looks like a war game, but here's the problem I've got with this, okay, right? Project story, so we start off here, 1 to 6 players, that seems like a big range with a fixed 2-hour time limit. But it's like, what's in the box? A bunch of little tiles, okay, the tiles seem cool, they seem quite thick, I'm sure the quality of the production is going to be good. Okay, here's components. Oh wow, we're on the rewards already, okay, base pledge, shop pledge, okay. Unlock stretch goes. Oh, there's the solo mode, okay. About 1 video for preview, a how to play video, okay, download the rules, shipping, hang on a minute, did we skip a beat? Did we skip the bit where it tells me what you actually do in this game? Because, as far as I can tell, unless I go watch this massive video on it, I have to basically rely on that to tell me what this is. A fantasy war game for 1 to 6 players featuring 6 different races, each with their own specific powers. They're represented by domino-shaped tiles, dragons, giants, hill folk, etc. Have the most victory points, which can be gained by building villages, raiding villages, and winning battles. That's all I know about this game. Unless I watch that video, I know nothing about how this game works. Wow. Seriously, you couldn't have put a little bit more information in this Kickstarter for me? But honestly, this is literally going to be a case of, do you like wargaming with Martin Wallace? Because if those two things take your fancy, you're going to love this game. For me, though, this doesn't really appeal to me at all. And you're going to have to see me take a lot of drinks, because the heat wave has ended, but, well, I say it's ended, it's still pretty hot and humid today, and I haven't yet cooled the house down yet, and I have to shut all the windows in this particular room, so I might be sweating a bit, but we'll see. Nah, this one's not appealing to me, but if you're a Martin Wallace fan, then give it a look-see. Maybe this is your thing, but you got to be into war games as well, and that could be a very niche audience. Alright, let's have a look. PaleoVet. Right, well, I mean, I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are cool. 1 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes. You know, I'm cool, and I quite like the gag here. Ages 14 to 65 million. I mean, that's a nice little bit of humour. Hasn't got long, though. 67 hours, so you've got to pledge it now, to be honest. But let's have a look. So we brought back dinosaurs. You play as a paleo-veterinarian, competing to save as many dinos as possible from modern illnesses and injuries. 1 to 4 players. Okay, cool. Essentially, it looks like a dice game. So you have these dinosaurs that pop in, and you're rolling dice, and kind of like in a Yahtzee-style mechanic, you're trying to get sets in order to get the resource you need to cure the dinosaurs. But other than that, this doesn't really look like anything new. I mean, you know, you've got alert effects on some of the dinosaurs, okay, a few different ones, but for the most part, you have your dice, roll the symbols, you know, grab a dino, and then 3 of a kind does this, 2 of a kind does that, and 2 of a kind does this, and whatever, and essentially the symbols do little things. It's kind of giving me a very Pandemic the Dice game vibe here, and other than that, though, I mean, yeah, it's got some half-decent artwork. I mean, nothing to, you know, nothing to sing home about, but, you know, it's colourful, why not? It's a bit more cutesy, I guess, than most dinosaur games lately, but, yeah, there's just not a lot really for this game that's appealing to me. I mean, it's cheap, $59 for a copy with, you know, bifold player board, well, bifold, alright, it's not dual layer, but it's, I mean, what you'd expect for $59, but, I mean, it's funded, and it's getting stretch goals. I don't know, maybe it could be interesting, but this isn't something that I feel like I want to back. I don't see the unique appeal for this. Like, what is this game doing that any other dice game of this nature has not already done? It just feels like it's going to be like, oh, well, cool, it's a 30-minute dice game, and I'm kind of done with that. But yeah, I mean, if this is just going to play out a bit like Pandemic the Dice Game or certain other ones like that, then which one of those do I grab? I mean, I'm not even the biggest fan of Pandemic the Dice Game, to be perfectly honest. So, I don't know, give it a look. I mean, it is cheap, like I say, and that's $59 for the Deluxe Edition. You could, if you're one of only 88 people, grab the Standard Edition. Although, to be honest, $39, $59, 33 quid, 49 quid. I think you just buy the Deluxe Edition if you're going to get this at all. But, like I say, I want to see more of these little cheap games appear on Kickstarter, but yeah, not seeing a huge amount of love for this. I mean, Edo is literally the only person I think spoken about it, as well as Stellar. So, but, I mean, the Dice Tower looked at this and they were kind of hit and miss. I mean, half and half, really. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not really singing to me. Speaking of dinosaurs, wow. Try saying this fast when you're drunk. Dodos riding dinosaurs with the Dodo Dash. So I can't even do it myself and I'm not even drunk. Yeah, this one, I thought, okay, is this going to be a kid's game? I mean, it's called Dodos Riding Dinos. It's got to be kiddish, right? Well, apparently, it's an award-winning dexterity racing game inspired by a kind of kart racing video game. So, basically, Mario Kart. So, this is a reprint, apparently. I never heard of this game before, so I wasn't even aware it existed. 3 days to go. It has funded pretty well, to be honest. Not that pledge goals are anything to sing about anymore, because most publishers put stupidly low ones down just to inflate the percentage figure. But, you know, 220,000 for a game like this is pretty impressive, I gotta say. Tom's a massive fan of this, and there's a lot of other people sort of talking highly of it. Now, I mean, to be honest, I've got nothing against having a kind of Mario Kart style game. I mean, 1 to 8 players for a short 20-minute racing game, that's pretty cool, and these models are pretty nice. I mean, they're big, giant, plastic, over-the-top, crazy, wacky figures, and, you know, I mean, how much are we asking for here? So $39.89, but that's with an expansion, so you get more things in it. So what are you playing for the base set only? Oh no, that's the Dodo Dash is the expansion. So how do you get the base game by itself then? Or can you not get the base game by itself? So to get the expansion you need $39. To get the base and the expansion you need $89. It doesn't look like there's actually a pledge to get just the original, which is kind of odd. Yeah, it skips from 39 to 89 even though it's got the 59 here. That's kind of odd. But to be honest, I think if you're going to get this one, you might as well just pay the extra and get the expansion, really, especially if it adds a lot. But yeah, I mean, it looks funny and wacky, but here's the bit that's putting me off here, right? So, scheming phase, play a card. Yep, fine. Running phase, resolve the cards, and they've got weird abilities and cutesy artwork. Okay, cool, I'm fine with that. Projectiles. Use your dexterity skills to hit other racers and deal damage to them or stop their progress. I'm not the biggest dexterity fan. I don't mind stacking dexterity games, so I know Junkart and Bandu I've sort of been alright with, but I don't know, dexterity games just aren't my thing. I'm not very good at them for a kickoff, except, I don't know, I'm alright at the stacking ones, but I'm terrible at anything that involves flicking, throwing, you know, anything like that. Like, Crokinole I will suck at. What else is there? What was there? Pitch Car I'll suck at. Yeah, a lot of those. Flick of Faith. Oh god, I played Flick of Faith the other week. God awful game. Don't buy it. Trash. But yeah, hated that one as well, and I sucked at it. But yeah, I don't want a dexterity game with this. I would have been more happy if this was an 8-player Mario Kart style racing game that just had cards and wacky abilities. Do I really need to be the one throwing banana skins and flicking eggs? I don't know, but I don't know, maybe it could be fun, and it's 20 minutes of my life, so if I get a chance to try it, maybe I'll, go for it. I mean, great. Oof. These reactions do not seem real. This seems like the classic, right, I'm putting a camera on you, would you mind, would you mind just sort of acting for us a bit? That does not look like a real reaction. But, I don't know, maybe it could be great. If I see it, I'll try it. It's 20 minutes of my life. I'm not exactly going to be, that bummed out about it. And it's wacky. And I gotta give props, the production quality looks really good. I mean, you've got the character meeples, but the fact that you've got these miniatures that are huge, is pretty good. Along with linen cards, double-sided game boards, oversized dice, a plastic insert for the miniatures. I mean, for $89, this is not a bad value prospect. So, if you're interested in this, then by all means have a look. Is this the Dodo one? Is this the Dodo one? So 5 character miniatures, so you get 5 more things, 5 more meeples, 5 more cards, another game board, so another map, more movement cards, another dice, another plastic. I mean, that's not bad for an expansion either, especially with all the stuff that you're getting in the stretch goals. So, yeah, I mean, it's not for me. It's just not my style of game. But honestly, $89 is not a bad deal. Forget this $195 thing. I think that's just a retailer thing. What is this? Dodos Riding Dinos, War for Chicken Island, which I've never heard of, and Kiwi Chowdown. Oh, God. Just by name alone, I don't want those games. But, I mean, if you want everything they've ever done, then there you go. You got $200 handy, then by all means. But that seems like a big leap from $89 for this to $200 for that. So, I don't know. $89. What's the shipping on this? Ship. Where's the shippy? Oh, Tom Vassel's done a review on it as well. Have a look. Let's see. Why is Quackalope putting Dice Tower Seal of Excellence in the title? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, fine. Anybody else done something? Can't seem to find the shipping. Shipping's got to be around somewhere. Fulfillment. Nope. Timeline. Board Game Guru is going to do it in the UK. Okay, here we go. Shipping. So UK shipping. Europe, I guess we're Zone 1, I'm going to assume, because it's not got UK anywhere else. UK Zone 1, so with everything, $15. That's not bad. That's not a bad shipping rate either. So, okay, if you want to entertain your kids, or you just want a wacky Mario Kart game, then give it a look, but it's just not, it's not my style of game, so it's not one that I'm going to pay much attention to. Alright, let's see. Dungeons of Doria. Cooperative roguelike dungeon crawler. It's not funded yet. So this one, did that just tick down? I swear that just ticked down, or did I not notice it right? But here's a cooperative roguelike dungeon crawler. Problem is, we have seen about 1 million of those. Alright, so this needs to bring something unique to the table. It's not the aesthetic, that's for certain. I mean, that cover is not a cover that would get me to pick it off the shelf. I'm sorry, it's just literally Dungeons of Doria, which is a generic name, and the background with it. There's no fancy picture or anything. This is definitely what looks like a passion project style Kickstarter. I'm also a little bit worried where it says 45 minutes per player, and then it says goes in 1 to 6 players. Are you telling me that 6 people have to sit down for 4.5 hours to play this game? Because I hope not. But 13 days to go. I mean, you're getting a lot in the box. You're getting 480 cards, 40 standees, and I'm all up for standees. I mean, miniatures that are unpainted, whatever, we see them everywhere. But to keep costs down, and it's not expensive. I mean, again, this seems to be well, we'll get onto the expensive one later. But yeah, what have we got? 69 euros. So £59, 60 quid for this. It's not a bad... I mean, as much as the aesthetics look... I'm sorry, they do look dull. This is like a beige dungeon crawler. You do not want beige to be a name associated with your dungeon crawler, especially when you look at these cards. But 480 cards, not bad at all. 40 standees, 3 campaigns that can be done with individual scenarios or 8 scenario campaigns, 20 standalone quests on top of that. You're getting a decent amount of content. So, and it's even on Tabletop Simulator if you want to give it a trial, and Tabletopia. So, I mean, the problem is that this genre is bloated. I mean, you see a ton of these games all the time. Dungeon crawler this, dungeon crawler that. And I'm all up for a dungeon crawler where you kick the door down and black the dragon, you know, and that kind of thing. The problem is that they are all kind of feeling the same. They either end up being very generic, or they overcomplicate it and forget the fact that it's meant to be a dungeon crawler, Gloomhaven, you know, and sort of go for something more Euro-like. But with this, it's, I mean, £10, €12. You're talking £70 for this. You're getting a decent amount of content, yes, but £70 is not a cheap price to be asking when this is definitely like a kind of an indie Kickstarter. You know, because most indie Kickstarters I would expect to cost a little bit less, but you know, you're asking £70 here. Now, as I said, it looks like a big box. That is a lot of campaigns, a lot of scenarios. Hopefully these scenarios aren't done and dusted within 5 minutes. Although it says 45 minutes per player. Well, what, for each scenario, or is that for the campaign? I mean, you know, can you get through 8 scenarios in 45 minutes by yourself? I very much doubt it. So I'm a little bit confused by this whole 1 to 6 players and 45 minutes per player. I mean, this is the kind of thing. One little tip for publishers. You really need to be very careful about how you phrase these time per player things. I mean, if the time per player is going to scale out of control, then either don't play it with 6 players, you know, don't make your game for high player counts, or do a range. I don't know, because you can't be serious that you want this game to take 4.5 hours a scenario with 6 players. I'm hoping that 4.5 hours is to do a whole campaign. That would be pretty sweet. But then I don't believe for a second you could play a campaign by yourself in 45 minutes. So it's a little bit hard to tell how long this game is meant to take. But I don't know. It's cheap for what you get. That I'll give it props for. It's relatively straightforward graphic design, although there is quite a lot of information on the bottom of these cards, so I'm hoping it's not too complex. But it's a dungeon crawler. You have decent looking artwork. I mean, I'll give that props. The artwork on these cards may be generic, but they do look half decent. And at least they will show some colour on the table. It won't just be basic beige miniatures or grey miniatures. But there's not a huge amount of people that have talked about this, so hard to say. I think this is going to be one that if you are a fan of dungeon crawlers and you want to try something from an indie publisher and support some indie creators, then by all means give it a look. But I don't know, it's not for me. The aesthetics and this player thing are putting me off. As I say, that cover needs improvement. You got to get some artwork. You've got some good artwork on these player boards and on those cards. Get some on that box. Don't make that the cover of your box. It really isn't going to work. But I mean, it's 17,000, 21,000 goal, 13 days to go. I reckon it will fund by then. So, I mean, good luck to you, mate. Good luck. Although, let's go from a slightly bland-looking aesthetic to, oh my god, my eyes! It's like, seriously. Amygdala, I think is how you pronounce this. This is, was it a game brewer? Who, no! Get out of there! Game brewer is a little bit, when it comes to Kickstarter. You know, most of their other Kickstarters have had some component issues, it has to be said. And honestly, their recent games have not really wowed me. I mean, Stroganoff, you check out my review for that, that's got some problems. They're reprinting the Legends of Korra, and I'm expecting a copy of that soon, so yeah, hopefully that'll be good. But then, again, component quality for what they have done recently has not been great. I mean, even Stroganoff, I think, had some major component issues with, like, the deluxe version, so even the retail version was better. So I think that's noticeable in the fact that this is not getting a lot of people. I mean, 10 days left and you've still got 10,000 euros to go for a Wolfgang and Michael Kiesling game. And they're a good pair of designers. And I like that cover. It does look pretty sweet. Although, here's a slight problem. So, okay, artwork looks cool. Oh my word. Look at that board. This is an abstract game, an abstract strategy-ish game, okay? This is what they're calling it. Wow, ow, my eyes. It looks gorgeous. I mean, I wouldn't say no to having a bit of artwork like that, but that's a very... It's an assault on your visual senses to try and get that in, you know... Imagine you've got to stare at this board. And look, you've got pieces all over it, you've got these little tiny little spinning tops over it, you've got your own player board with stuff to go on. So there's quite a bit going on in terms of what you got to stare at. Not to mention all of these have got... You've got different color regions, and you've got to move a mood marker and do lots of little symbology things like that. There's quite a lot going on here, and you think, I'm going to stare at that. It will guarantee draw heads as they walk past. I kid you not, everybody is going to want to stare at this game. But I don't know if I feel like I want to stare at that board and focus on it to try and see what it is I'm trying to do. I mean, it says colourful or calm here. Which one's the calm? I mean, they're both really colourful. I don't see which one here is calm. They're both really hard to look at. So, on top of your player boards as well, these coins, you know, it's a cool little pattern, and, oh, blimey, they do really like their storage boxes, don't they? But, I mean, if it stores well in the box, fine. Although again, game brewer, you have a reputation for shoddy component quality in your deluxe versions. People know this, so be a little bit concerned. 65 euros though for the exclusive edition. I mean, you're getting quite a lot in there. A lot of tiles, a lot of boards, a lot of decent artwork. What have we got? Standard, exclusive, and exclusive all in. Oh, I see. You only get the storage boxes and metal coins with the all in edition. Okay, so exclusive is 65 euro. How much is the all-in one then? Wow. Woohoo! 95 euro for an abstract strategy game that will assault your visual senses on a regular basis. That's not cheap, and I'll bet anything, shipping and VAT if applicable afterwards. How many people... Let's see. Oh. I didn't even realize Paul Grogan had actually done a tutorial on this. I must have missed that one. I was looking at the Endless Winter stuff the other day, but it's like, oh, well, by all means, go check out Paul Grogan's tutorial, because, you know, if anybody's going to teach you how to play this game, it's him. And not else to really talk about there. Shipping. Ooh, shipping. Where's UK? One copy, 15 euro. Not bad, but then, God, imagine if you get the all-in, though. That's 90, what, 95? That's 110. 110 plus another 20-odd euro plus for that. Whew, blimey, that's expensive for a game like this. I mean, even this one, I mean, 65, that's going to be... I mean, it's still 15. It doesn't actually distinguish the shipping between the different editions. So even the normal version is going to be 15 euro, which seems a little bit weird. But 65, 80, 88, 96, I mean, you're still talking 100 euro with that for this. And that's not even including any add-ons that you might have. That's a lot. That's too much for a game like this. Too much for an abstract strategy game that we don't know a huge amount about that will assault your senses. I think a lot of people are going to struggle with looking at this game. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have a problem staring at that for an abstract strategy game? I mean, if you don't, then by all means give this one a look, because frankly it looks nice in terms of color. But I think I'd rather have this on my wall than in front of me trying to stare at it. Although, while we're on the subject of things being expensive, why don't we go on to Dead Reckoning? Because Dead Reckoning is, blimey, a little expensive. Let me just take a tea for a second. Mint tea. Right. Alderac Entertainment, Dead Reckoning. Now, a bit of a history with this one. I played it. I played the original Dead Reckoning with some friends of mine. My friend has this. We played a 4-player. It took 3 hours. That's too long. Way too long. And I liked it, question mark. But I did have some caveats with it. I put a first impressions post on Facebook with this. And then the designer of Pandasaurus Games decided to come out and basically eviscerate me for it. Wow. I mean, seriously? Really? First impressions? And I'm not allowed to just give my views on the first impressions? Apparently that is an alien concept on Facebook, but I digress. This is, however, funding perfectly well because it's definitely got its fans, and it's basically for the expansions. And again, publishers, we don't give a monkeys about you funding in X minutes, okay? Stop it with that stat. It's pointless. Nobody cares, right? 1 to 4 players, 120 minutes, if you're lucky, with 4 players. Seriously, that was a 3-hour game. Takes a while. There's a lot of rules to teach in this game, a lot of overhead to learn, and then you've got to get through the whole game itself. This is a long, long game. I have a feeling I would much prefer this playing it solo, but I do love card crafting. And the card crafting element of this is really fun. In fact, a lot of this I like. I mean, it looks gorgeous. And she had the really nice version. So it had like the upgraded resources and the metal coins. And yeah, it was a beautiful sight. And a beautiful thing to play with. And not a fan of this ship, though. This ship where you roll the cubes down and you... Yeah, this thing. This is very lucky. Very swingy. And you could have your ship blown up in 1 round just by sheer luck of the cubes. And you will least expect it. And the problem is that sinking your ship is very swingy. If you get sunk, not only do you lose points, but the person who sunk you gains those points as well. That swing is better than any other point game you can possibly get in the entire game. I think it's something like 5 points you lose, 5 points they gain, and then there's a 3-point bonus for something an objective you can get. So that's a 13-point swing. I guarantee you nothing else in the game gives you that many points. And that is for a fluky combat roll that's only applicable if you're even going around and doing combat, because this game makes such a big deal about having 4 paths to victory, and yet combat seems to be a good way to go. But I digress. You know, I've only played it the once. These are just first impressions, and to be honest, I've had debates with people about this game a lot, and some agree, some don't. I'm not in a position to really counter-argue. I need to try it some more. And I would like to play it again, albeit less players and quicker time, please. But here's the problem with this. The reason I didn't back the original Kickstarter was because it got stupidly expensive for what it was. Even though there's a lot in the backs, it is mostly about the cards. So this is just a Saga expansion. Saga expansion 3. That's all it is. It's just 1 Saga expansion. There's already been 2, and as far as I can tell, these just add a few extra little components and kind of like a sort of campaignish thing there, almost like not a legacy thing, but it's like, you know, modules you can add to the game. And of course, the main word that you hear about this are the ones who like everything in existence, so it's hard to gauge whether they're any good or not. But you know, you get a lot in the normal box, but honestly, as much as the retail version is nice, you're going to have a lot of FOMO when it comes to not getting the decent version, because, wow, the decent version looks gorgeous. I mean, you're going to really, like, you're going to put them next to each other and, like, I've got my copy of the game, oh, and just, like, feel really bad that you didn't fork out the extra cash. So, okay, whether you like the game or not, maybe it's better solo. Tell me if the solo play is worth it, because I might be tempted if a better solo game. But here's the put-off. $79 for the basic game, right? Basic game. That's just the original game, okay? And I swear it was actually slightly more expensive the last time, right? But that's just no other add-ons. That's just some Sea Dogs, like a few extra cards here. $60 for the Letter of Marque reward. So hang on a minute. This expansion, which does look like it has a fair amount in it, but still, this expansion is $60, and that's $80. So an expansion is $20 less than the base game. That seems like a lot for a box that doesn't even look that big. Because it looks like it's mainly the boards that take up this box size. I mean, the cards won't take up that much. And a bunch of little tokens, yeah, they're not going to take up much space. So, oh boy. What is this? So, to get everything, $239 for a card game with boards. This is essentially a card crafting game. There's a lot of stuff in the box, not going to deny. But wow, $239 base. And that's including these free Saga expansions. I mean, how much content do you need for this game? But even then, look at these 2 Saga expansions. There's almost nothing in them. Is that what you get? Like a few cards, there you go, a few little boards there and these tiles for 45? And that's 45? And this is 59? Now, granted, this should be higher because it clearly looks like there's more in this than the other 2, but you're trying to tell me that 3 Saga expansions are 100 and, was it 90? 149, it's 150 bucks for this. 150 for the expansion sagas. Wow. Blimey. And then if you want custom sleeves, like my mate had, that's another 15. I mean, that's the other thing. You're just getting the game for $79. You're just getting the basic stuff, wooden buildings and some wooden cargo now, which still look good, but still, that's all you're getting for the 80 bucks. You want to get the version she had, you gotta spend $15, $30, $40. I don't think she had the playmat, but still, I would get the playmat, so that's $20. I don't even know if she had the upgraded buildings as well, but there's 30. By the time you are done with this, if you are going all in, you could be spending burn cycle, Chip Theory Games money on a card crafting pirate game. That just seems ridiculous. And I've read some of these reviews, and Tom Vassel's included in that. They're not exactly like going 99% out of 100 in there, but oh my word, that is a lot of money. It looks good. And I like John DeClare's stuff, and I like the card crafting. But 200, and this is not even including shipping. You're gonna get another $20 on top of that to ship it. So there you go. Plus the VAT. Don't forget the VAT if you're in the UK. So yeah, you could be spending £200 just to get everything at the moment. Probably another £100 on top to get the add-ons. If you want to really pimp it up. Add 20% on top of that. Add $20. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but even if you tell me that the solo mode is one of the best solo modes in the world, people have got to... I swear there are gamers who have more money than sense. No game is worth this much money. No game. I love... Well, I can't spoil because I'm a top 100, but there are games I love to bits that are my favourite games of all time. They don't cost as much of this to acquire. And if they have cost a lot of money over time, it's over time. They've been expansions released over and over again, and it's just add-ons. I can choose to get them. Yes, you can choose to get the Saga expansions here, but still, let's assume you don't get the Saga expansions. Alright, just the Saga expansions. Alright, so let's ignore that $150. Let's just go for the 79, whatever it is. 79. Right, now let's say you really want to pimp up that version, though. Okay, so 79. Okay, so 79. Ignore the Sagas. I think you get the Sea Dogs included, so 79. Right, so let's call it 80. So 80, 95, 125, 165, 185. Let's ignore the upgraded buildings because I don't think these good. So 185 plus the shipping. So you're still talking 200 bucks if you want to get the basic game alone with the really cool looking components. And believe me, I'm not going to lie, all of these, the custom sleeves, the upgraded cargo, and the metal coins, look and feel fantastic. These are some of the best metal coins I have seen in the game. These are really good. The art sleeves look really cool and are easy to distinguish between players. And all neoprene playing mats are great. So these add-ons are certainly worth their money if you've won the lottery recently. This just is way too much. It's too much money. I'm not going in for this. I'm sorry. Especially when I didn't exactly love the game to begin with on first impressions. If you've got a ton of money, then by all means go for it. I mean, 700 people have clearly, decided to forego, food for the kids for the week, or decided to cancel their holidays for the year to afford this. 638. I mean, less people have gone for the base set alone than they have for the expansion. Oh, sorry, and all in, 3,000 people went for the expansion alone. So a lot of people just seem to have a lot of money itself. Right, well, you thought that might be it for talking about obscene prices for Kickstarters. You'd be so wrong. If you thought that was a rant, I'm sorry. What in the living hell? Foundations of Rome. Now, alright, little background here. I have played Foundations of Rome. It is a solid game. I give it a 7 out of 10. Possibly an 8. So it's good, maybe great, but probably good, not great. Still, I would give a seal of endorsement for it. And I think it's fine. It's a fine game. It's half acquire, half, I don't know really, half card drafting. I mean, it's I mean, like in Acquire, you basically have a grid of, you know, numbered letters and that, and you basically acquire the cards which allow you to build on certain plots. It's a bit like acquiring the tiles in Acquire, but you do it by card drafting in this one, and you have some little extra powers and some different effects for the building. So it's partially Acquire, but it takes out the boring stock market element and just makes it a lot simpler. So this is a solid game. But, oh my word. This game, if you want the dictionary definition of overproduced, this game is for you, because of this giant cube box, all these inserts, a bucket ton of beige miniatures, and again, this is beige miniatures, these aren't even painted, right? This is just beige miniatures. All of this, which granted, is fantastic looking. It is gorgeous. And when you are playing this game and you have this player board with all these beige 3D pieces on it, it is a thing to behold. But again, it's pink beigey pieces. They're not even painted here. Right. Where's the cost? We won't even get into the expansion a minute. Let's just look at the cost here. So $40 if you want to do the expansion. So 33 bucks. Okay. All right. 200 bucks. Wow. 200 bucks, which granted does give you the, actually, does that give you the expansion? No, that's 200 bucks for the base game, right? 230 if you want to throw in this Roads of Fortune expansion, which as far as I can tell just adds some alternate monuments, another core box component tray, some road boards. I'm not entirely certain what it adds, but okay, it's going to be a little bit of extra gameriness for, you know, for Foundations of Rome. All right, so that's about as much as I would expect to spend on the expansion. All right, $30, $40. Okay, fine. 200 bucks. 200 bucks. And I would not want to play this with 5 players. Well, blimey, it was already decent enough with 3, okay, lengthwise. I might play it with 4. I would never play this with 5. Way too long, I would imagine. But, and what makes me worry about this is this symbol here that you can see here, right? This is what Arcane Wonders sort of pairs up with. Dice Tower Essentials. Dice Tower Essentials. Essential games. 200 bucks. No game that is essential should cost you, the consumer, in a day and age where the economy of the world has gone to pot, where people in the UK are struggling to wonder if they will even survive the winter because of the energy cap problems at the moment, and you think essential is $200. No, it is friggin' not. And that's not even before you start throwing in $60 for a custom case, which incidentally the teacher had, so he's paid this much. Sundrop, $50. Neoprene playmat, $80. Oh, that's for the big one, the art mat. Still $40 for the big one. Metal coins. Jesus. I mean, the gameplay content here with, yeah, and like I say, that was 200 bucks, right? That's just for the game. You don't even get the solo expansion in here. You have to pay $15 to get a solo mode. $200 and you can't even give me a solo mode here. What the hell? The game is fine. It's a good fun game, but you do exactly this. You buy a deed, you build the lot, and you take income. You carry on. Some of the buildings like to be next to other buildings. Some get you more income, some get you more ability to get cards. I forget exactly, but that's essentially what the game is. It's fun, but it's a simple gateway? Next step. I wouldn't call it gateway, but it's a next step light game. $200 really? For a meaty, heavy Euro that's going to take hours and hours and hours of play? I mean, you're going to buy Gloomhaven for $150. I would expect to, you know, with the amount of content that has, at least fair enough, that kind of justified the obscene cost it had. This is just insane. And again, you know, it's the same channels, it's the same sort of hype that it's had. Oh yeah, did I mention it's going to cost you $70 to post this? I kid you not. $30 if you, well, I mean $30 for the expansions. You're talking $70 for an expansion. VAT included, yes, but $60, $70. $70. So you are paying $300 pre-add-ons for this game. Overproduced is not enough to talk about what, you know, overproduced is not even the word I would use to describe this. This is insane. Now, you know, what do you get here? You get, let's see, you get metal coins, you get player rolls, trading and stealing, so that's just more bits and bobs, but it doesn't mention the solo mode, so that's just mainly component stuff. But, oh my god, $300 for this is ridiculous. What is it with these Kickstarters and making them cost an absolute fortune? I know I said I wasn't exactly, like, bowled over by things like PaleoVet, Dodos, Riding, and Dungeons of Doria, but at least they're cheap. At least you're getting value. Even if you played the game a few times and thought, yeah, this isn't brilliant, you'd be able to get your money back fairly easily, and it wouldn't be a chore to try and sell it. You want to try and post this thing if you're not happy with the game for the price that you paid for it? Good luck with that, because you're going to have fun trying. And believe me, as somebody who has sold Dwellings of Eldervale recently, and Perseverance from Mindclash, and Merchants of the Dark Road, it's not easy to sell giant box games. It really isn't. Find a big enough box for a kickoff, but also try and sell it at a bring and buy for cash. Yeah, good luck with that. It took me a while. Oh my god. And this is a thing with these sort of Kickstarters I've got to call out here, right? There's a lot of people that play this and say, like, oh, this is really good, hype it up, you gotta buy it, okay, right? I'm gonna bet money, right? I'll bet money none of these people bought the game. I'll bet money on this, because a lot of them are preview channels, which means that generally they get the game in advance. And usually when you do previews for games, you tend to get the actual game as a benefit for doing it, right? You don't usually just get the prototype and nothing else. They normally send you the retail copy. I know this because I've done previews already, okay? If you don't have to spend $300 on this game, then brilliant. I would love this game and I would sing the praises. It would probably be a 9 out of 10. You know, it would be like, yeah, this is a fantastic game. You should get it. It's good fun, you know, good mechanics and, you know, simple rules, whatever, and it looks gorgeous. But then when you figure that you had to spend $300 on it, suddenly your opinion becomes a little bit more skewed. You realize that you have bought a next step light game for $300. You start to either realize that you've wasted your money on something this light, or you try to justify the fact that it's the most amazing game ever because you spent this kind of money on it. Rising Sun in the other room. I spent at least $250 on that, right? I spent a lot of money on that game, and as much as I like the game, I regret everything about the fact that I spent that much money on it. It was not worth $250 at all. I should have downplayed it a lot. Problem is, hindsight's a powerful tool. This is another deal here. So, it's easy to hype up a game when you didn't have to fork out actual physical cash for it. You know, it's a little bit like, you know, how do you even talk about the value of a game when you didn't even have to contribute value in financial form? That's a big beef I have with these expensive Kickstarters and the idea of previews for them as well. It doesn't work for me. I mean, people wonder why I talk value in some of my videos, because it's like, it's subjective, you know, so one person's expensive thing is another person's cheap thing, but I'm sorry, I don't consider $300 as cheap, alright, unless you are a friggin' millionaire, alright? $300 for a board game. I can think of a bunch of games on the shelf behind me that I have got way more value and plays out of that will not cost me $300. dollars. I have lost track of the amount of times I have played Sushi Go with the family and kids and relatives and that. You can buy Sushi Go for less than 10 quid, okay? And I have played it to death. That's the cheapest £10 I've ever spent on a card game. You know, yes, it doesn't look like this, but it doesn't need to. This one could have just been tiles. Tiles, smaller box, with good artwork, and I'd have been totally fine. Give me that board, give me this as tiles, and give me the cards. You could make this for a fraction of the cost, and I reckon it would still be a really, really good game. And I would buy it. Just have thick tiles. Make them different levels of thickness for level 3 buildings and level 2 buildings and level 1 buildings, that kind of thing. You could color code them. You could have really nice artwork. I mean, I don't know who does the art with this one, but does it mention who did the artwork? I don't know. No, I don't think it mentions the illustrator. I could be wrong, but whatever. Yeah, just get good artwork. Well, maybe not Vincent Dutrait, it's not my style, but you could get the Miko, you could get, you know, Tool maybe, you know, get somebody to do the artwork for your game, and shave the cost. Now, I probably should wrap this up because I'm probably ranting on too much, but, you know, I've talked about this with a lot of people, and there's a lot of people who think similarly with the cost of Kickstarters. It's getting ridiculous, and I'm going to call this out on future episodes if I see really expensive Kickstarters that I think are just overproduced. This is the biggest example of that. I enjoyed the game and I still think it's good. It is a good game. What makes me sad is the fact that a lot of people will not get to play this good game because the cost is ridiculous. I would love to see like a retail version of this. Not a Target exclusive, but like a retail copy of this with tiles, fraction of the cost, 50 bucks max. Give me tiles, give me cards, small box. I would buy that. I'd buy this for $50 if it was a card game with tiles. I'd be up for that because I reckon it would justify it then. Not this. Not 200, 230, 300, plus all these add-ons, because let's face it, you're going to want some of these add-ons. I mean, hell, the box is this big. You're going to need a carrying case. It's probably going to be needed. So, I've ranted on enough. I got to shut this down. Hey, so yeah, that's my August Kickstarter rant slash wrap-up. I don't know, but yeah, this... I mean, not the best month for Kickstarters, honestly. Nothing has really caught my eye. Nothing is really something I want to back. In fact, the two games that I would back in terms of how good I think they are mechanically are the ones that cost so much money that I don't want to back them. This is the problem. But maybe you found something in those smaller ones I had. So, as I say, put your opinions in the comments, alright? Let's be civil about this. I know I've ranted on a lot here, but, you know... it's just my humble opinion at the end of the day. Some of you might think that the value is entirely justified in Dead Reckoning and Foundations of Rome. If so, let us know your reasons why. You know, we gotta discuss this like adult people. But, you know, let me know about Amygdala. Was Amygdala like a visual assault on your senses? Or do you think it's going to be a really solid game? But would you justify €100 plus for it? I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Dungeons of Doria and the PaleoVet and the Dinos riding Dodos? You know, do those free for the cost look pretty good to you? I mean, what's my recommendation for this month? In terms of value, strangely enough, I'm actually quite shocked by this. I think my pick of the month is going to be Dodos riding Dinos. I think for the cost that you're paying for that, which is about $89, and there are some add-ons in that, so it's not exactly the cheapest thing in the world, but, I mean, for $89, you're getting a base game with the expansion that can cater for 8 players, that has a lot of cool plastic miniatures and a bunch of stuff in here. I mean, it's not a bad deal for that. It's on the upper echelon of, you know, a decent cost for a board game, but you are getting a reasonable amount of content, and I think this could be fun for those who are into these kind of wacky dexterity games. So, yeah. Pick of the month, I would say this one. This is one that I actually would be tempted to play if somebody shoved it in front of me. That's, you know, saying a lot, really. Even though I suck at dexterity games. So anyway, yeah, that's it for me on this rant video, I guess. I'll see you on the next episode of The Broken Meeple. If you like what you see, please remember to thumb up the video. Consider subscribing to the Patreon or the channel itself. But mainly, as I said, put some comments down. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like these games? Do you like the fact that you know, do you like these cheaper ones? Do you like these indie ones? Do you think they're too expensive? You know, I want to know your thoughts. Let's have a good discussion on this. Until next time, you can check out the Top 100 that is in full swing at the moment. Yes, my Top 100 games for the 2020 2022 year. Not of 2022, it's the 2022 edition. I do it every year. But by all means, check out that and let me know your thoughts on those games as well. Take care, and remember, as always, when you think about the cost of these things, they're only games. Bye for now.